So 67 and 69, we just have to find the combination, 10 choose 8, plug it into the formula. The formulas will be given to you. So it's n factorial over r factorial times n minus r. Just remember that the first one is your n, the second one is your r. And it could also be written like this, where the top number is your n, the second number is your r. So we would have 10 factorial over 8 factorial times n minus r, so that would be 10 minus 8, which is 2 factorial. So you guys can put this in your calculator. I'm going to write it out. So it'll be 10 times 9 times 8 factorial. I can stop there because I have an 8 factorial on the bottom. And 2 factorial is just 2 times 1. So the 8 factorials will cancel. 2 goes into 10 5 times. So this is just 9 times 5, which is 45. 69 is the same. All right, 72, we have to use Pascal's triangle, so that will not be given to you. You can start by making a little triangle of ones. Remember, the first row and the last row will always be a 1, or the first number and the last number in your row will be a 1. And then you just add the 2 numbers before it. So the second row would be 1, 2, 1. The third row would be 1, 3, 3, 1. And then the fourth row would be 1, 4, 6, 4, 1. For number 72, we're looking at the third row. So we're going to use the coefficients 1, 3, 3, 1. So we start with our coefficients. Then we take the first term, which is y. So I start with y to the third power, then y squared, y to the first power, y to the power of 0. Then I take my second term, which is negative 3. So it'll be negative 3 to the power of 0, negative 3 to the first power, negative 3 to the second power, negative 3 to the third power. And then we just multiply each column together. So we can cancel out the 0 powers because anything to the power of 0 is just 1. So this would be y cubed. 3 times negative 3 would be negative 9y squared. Negative 3 squared would be 9 times 3 would be 27y. And then the last one would be negative 3 cubed, which is negative 27. So that would be your answer. So next page is probability. For 83 and 84, we just use the formula, so make sure you're using the P one, not the C one. They're a little bit different. Then let's look at 91. So there are 12 bicyclists entered in a race. In how many different orders can the 12 bicyclists finish? So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, but I'll show you why. So how many different possibilities do we have for the first place? 12. So if somebody got first place, they can't also get second place. So then how many possibilities do I have for second place? 11. And then it would just go on from there. 10, 9, 8. So this would be 12 factorial. So in our calculator, we could just put 12 factorial. Matt, what do we get?
479,001,600.
Perfect. 479,001,600. So the review was super nice and told us that we have 52 cards in the deck, but we've done so many of these questions already that that's just ingrained in our brains at this point, 52 cards in a standard deck. So what's the probability that we have a number less than 6? Well, if I drew my little makeshift deck of cards down here, aces are low, so I would start with an ace, then have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and it keeps going. But we only care about a number less than 6, so that would be ace through 5. Yes. So how many cards do I have ace through 5? Oops, there shouldn't be a 1, it should just be 2, because ace is 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have 5, but there's 5 for each suit. So it would be 5 times 4, which would be 20. So I have 20 out of 52 that are a number less than 6. And then how many diamonds do I have in 52? I have 13. There's 13 of each suit. And then when it says or, what do?
You add.
We add. And we multiply or we add. So So just add these together. We get 33 out of 52. Okay, let's look at 99. So given a bag of marbles and you draw without replacement 6 green, 7 yellow, 4 blue, and 5 red. So that both marbles are green. Well, how many green do I have in the bag? 6. And how many total do I have? 22. So if I picked out a green marble and put it on the table, now how many green marbles do I have in the bag?
5.
Out of how many now? 21. There's one less in the bag because I put that marble on the table. So I'm picking a green marble and another green marble. So do I add or multiply?
Multiply.
We multiply. So whenever it says both or neither, that means you multiply. So 6 times 5 would be 30. 22 times 21 is 462. We can simplify this. So this would be 231, 15 over 231. Not sure if you can simplify that more, but remember, it's multiple choice, so you can just divide it in your calculator and see which decimal is the same. We have overlapping here for number 97. So last class didn't even notice that. So since they overlap, how many cards less than 6 are diamonds? How many overlap? So we had 5 that overlap, so we have to subtract. So 5 out of 52. What? Because, so I have ace, 2, 3, 4, 5 in each suit. So this is, let's say, the clover, whatever. And then I have the spade, a heart, a diamond. This one will be the clover. A club. I don't play cards. So ace, 2, 3, 4, 5, ace, 2, 3, 4, 5, ace, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these are the 20 that are a number less than 6. I also counted these as diamonds too, so these 5 are the ones that overlap, the diamonds that are less than 6. So since we have overlapping, we have to subtract. So it'll be 20 plus 13 minus 5, which is 7 over 52. But the total amount of cards is 52. Oh, yeah, it's 28, and then it simplifies to 7 out of 13. Because we just divide by 4. So let's look at number 5. So the endpoints of a diameter are given. So it's like if we had a circle here and it gave us the endpoints of the diameter. How would we find the center of the circle? The midpoint of the 2 points. So the midpoint formula would be x1 plus x2 over 2, y1 plus y2 over 2. So add the x's together. This would be negative 1 plus 5. So 4 over 2, which would be 2. And then add the y's together. We get 2 plus 6, which would be 8 over 2, which is 4. So our center is 2, 4. So that is our h and k. So I can plug those into my formula. I have x minus h squared plus y minus k squared, which k is 4, is equal to r squared. Now, how can I find my r squared? I can either do the distance formula or I can plug in any point that's given. So x and y as an x and y. So I have negative 1 minus 2 squared plus plus 2 minus 4 squared. Because you have to use the same plug. I'm using this one. So this would be negative 3 squared plus negative 2 squared is equal to r squared. So 9 plus 4. So r squared would be 13. So I'm just going to plug that into my formula up here. we get 13. So this is my standard form. Are pretty much the same. We just have to find the x and y intercept. So for 13, how would I find the x-intercept? Plug in 0 for the y. It's always the opposite. So we have x minus 3 squared plus 0 plus 1 squared is equal to 7. So then we just simplify. So x minus 3 squared plus 1 equals 7. Subtract 1, so x minus 3 squared is equal to 6. Then what should I do? Take the square root of both sides. What do I have to remember to do when I take the square root of both sides? Plus or minus. And then what's the last step? Add 3. So x is equal to 3 plus or minus square root 6. But since this is an x-intercept, it's probably written as a point. So it'll be 3 plus or minus square root 6, comma 0. That's our x-intercept. We would do the same thing for the y-intercept. But what do I plug in to find the y-intercept? Plug in 0 for x. All right. Also, you guys have to know the standard form of a hyperbola and ellipse. So in a hyperbola, it's x minus h squared over a squared. Is it a plus in the middle or a minus? Minus y minus k squared over b squared. And what's it equal to? 1. And then to find our c, or if c is given, we would use a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Jeff, for a hyperbola, this is what we use. So when it's minus in the equation, it's a plus in this one. So let's write the ellipse one now. So for ellipse, it's x minus h squared over a squared. In the middle here, it's plus y minus k squared over b squared is equal to 1. Here, to find our c squared, or if c squared is given to us, it would be a squared minus b squared equals c squared. So this is the ellipse. This one's a circle.